If you want to get into BFS fishing and don't know where to start, then this video is for you. Let's go.
In this video, we're going to cover what is BFS, why use BFS, the rod selection, the reel selection, and the line and leader selection. So firstly, what is BFS? It stands for Bait Finesse System, a term coined by Shimano to describe bait casters that were designed to cast lighter than those typically casted on bait casters at the time. It's essentially light or ultralight bait casting tackle. Now, why BFS? Well, for me personally, the gear is very fun to use, very aesthetically pleasing to look at, and also more customizable than spinning tackle. But the real reason that you should choose BFS over conventional spin tackle is that if you're putting in a lot of accurate casts into a close quarters environment, such as stream fishing for trout, you're able to better control the distance you cast your lure by being able to stop it with your thumb, more efficiently engaging the spool without having to flick the bail arm, and also having less line twist in the line. To me, this is the main reason why BFS gear shines over conventional spinning gear. When it comes to all other scenarios, it's just a matter of the fun and novelty factor of a casting reel over a spinning reel. Now, before we get into specifics of gear selection, we first need to work out what we intend to use the BFS gear for. Whether we're trying to fill a gap in our current lineup of combos, or whether we're trying to look to replace certain combos for a BFS orientated one, or if we're just wanting a multi-purpose combo that has versatility. Once we can answer that question, we need to then think of the species we're going to target mostly and the water we find them in so we can figure out the types of lures we're most likely to cast. So here we need to figure out a general idea of the profile of the lures we intend to use, the type of sink rates we might want to use for those scenarios, and we can figure out a range of weights that those lures might be so that we can go and choose the appropriate rod, reel, line and leader combo to optimize our fishing experience. Now let's talk about rod selection. When it comes to ultralight and light casting rods, you need to consider three main things. That is what rod length you should buy, the casting weight rating of the rod, and the type of action that you want.
Firstly, I just want to address a misconception about what is rod action and what is rod power.
The terms ultralight, light, medium light, etc. are referring to the rod's power. These ratings go hand in hand with the rod's casting weight rating and also the recommended line class used on the rod. I think the line class rating is a very old school generic rating, and the rod's casting weight should be prioritized over the line class rating. Rods that have a 1 to 2 kilo or 2 to 4 pound line rating may have different casting weights. One might be 0.8 grams to 5 grams, whereas another could be 1 to 10 grams. I'll go over this in a little bit more detail in a future video, but just wanted to touch on this to raise awareness for those that didn't know about this type of thing. Okay, so when it comes to choosing a rod length, I'd put it into three main categories. Short rods that are 5'6" and lower, medium length rods that are generally 6 or 6'6", and longer rods that are 7 foot and over. As a general rule, if you're going to be wading in creeks and casting from the bank where there's going to be a lot of trees and shrubs that will impede your casting action, you'll want to go for a shorter rod. These rods are the traditional style BFS rods used in stream angling and can be anywhere in the 4 feet to 5'6" range. If you're looking for more of a multi-purpose rod, look for something closer to 6 or 6'6". These lengths are a jack of all trades kind of length, and you make some sacrifices having the longer rod in a close quarters scenario, but you'll also benefit from extra casting distance. If you're going to be fishing in mostly open water scenarios or in a boat where you think longer casting and covering water is more advantageous, then go for a longer rod. This is the type of fishing I mainly do, so I have about 5 rods in that 7 to 8 feet range. As far as the rod action is concerned, the action refers to the bend point of the rod. An extra fast action rod will bend most near the tip section of the rod, whereas a slow action rod's bend point is closer to the center of the rod. These were previously described as fast and slow taper rods. As in the past, the taper of the rod blank was the determining factor in its action. These days, there are different ways a manufacturer can manipulate a rod's action by using different thicknesses of the walls of the rod blank, different ways that the carbon wraps around the rod, as well as using different materials altogether, such as a fiberglass or titanium tip section. There are various action ratings, but in general, slow, medium, medium fast, fast, and extra fast are the ways I would describe most rods. Typically, slower rods are best to use with moving baits and fish with softer mouths such as trout. Faster rods can be better for bottom contact techniques where sensitivity and bite detection is more important. Plus, faster rods have more hook setting capability. A good all-rounder would probably be something with a medium fast action, If you want any specific recommendations for a rod, let me know down in the comments section what fish you're targeting, what techniques you intend to use, and your preferred length of rod, and I'll do my best to help you in the right direction. Okay, now let's talk about reels. There are a ton of different reels to choose from. A typical low profile BFS reel could be in a 50 or 100 size, have 4 or 5 kgs of drag, be made of various materials, and have various breaking styles. BFS reels have lightweight shallow spools that allow them to cast lighter weights, and that's what really differentiates them from a typical bass bait casting reel. Out of all the reels I've tested, as well as feedback from friends and Facebook groups, I've created a tier list video with 42 different reels, and I've given my opinions on them. I'll pop a link in the top corner of this video as well as the video description. To make the selection process easier, I'm going to recommend a few reels that might suit your needs in order of price. If you're looking for a super budget option, my 2 picks are the Seeso Cast X and the Sombrero Phantom. The Seeso Cast X is a very good value for money reel. It's a 100 size reel that comes with both a shallow and a deep spool. It's best for the lures 3 grams and above. The Phantom does cast a little bit lower out of the box at probably 2 grams and is a smaller and lighter reel, but the build quality isn't quite as good as the Cast X. Then the next 2 reels are essentially the same reel, and that is the Solo King Acura, also known as the Dover Yellow Hick 50, and the Kingdom Micro Monster. Both of these are lightweight 50 size reels, with the Acura coming with the option of a deeper spool. You cannot go wrong with either of these reels, and with practice they are capable of casting 1 gram. The build quality is also very good, so either one is a great option. The Pure Lure Silver Feather Air is probably my pick of the bunch, as the current price to performance ratio cannot be beaten in my eyes. I've done a few videos on this reel before, and it's a very user-friendly reel and is capable of casting 1 gram and has very good build quality and only weighs 119 grams. If you're wanting what I think is the best reel right now, I would look at the Pure Lure Silver Feather EXA DC reel. This is a digitally controlled or DC reel that has amazing braking capabilities and is extremely user-friendly to cast. It comes with a slightly deeper spool, so I'm using this on my longer rods where I want longer casts and potentially cast heavier lures. All of these reels should be able to cast up to 10 grams, and when it comes to the EXA, I've actually casted 18 grams on it with no issues.
Don't forget to leave a comment and a like, and while you're at it, set a hook in that subscribe button. Now that we've got the reel, let's talk about the line and leader. The majority of BFS anglers tend to use braided line for their main line with a fluorocarbon leader. The braided line is much thinner than straight monofilament or fluorocarbon line, which makes casting light lures much easier as it's lighter and cuts through the air more. Also, because it has almost no stretch, it makes bite detection and hook setting even easier. Now, because we want lower visibility and abrasion resistance, we tie a length of fluorocarbon leader to the end of our braided line. There are many knot videos on YouTube that demonstrate this, but I use a very basic double uni knot, which is what I would recommend to every first time lure angler. For the line choice, we have a few considerations. There are braided lines that have 3, 4, 8, or even up to 13 strands of braid that are woven together to form the line. As a beginner, I wouldn't delve too deeply into this subject, as I think experience will dictate what's best for you. As a general rule, I would not think of lines in terms of their breaking strain, but think of them more purely based on their diameter. Now, you may have heard of the PE or GO rating of line. Many lines these days have the PE, and typically Japanese braided lines will have the GO rating system. These are both very similar, so I wouldn't worry about looking into that too much. Line diameters and breaking strains that are listed on the packaging from known manufacturers are often incorrect, so that's why it's best to use a PE or GO rating system. If you want more information on this, please check out Tim from the Line Laboratory YouTube channel as well as his website. This is pretty much the only resource that you'll ever need when it comes to choosing a line. You will notice from some of the various tests that he does that often the breaking strain and line diameter varies a lot from what's written on the packaging. Some brands are way more guilty than others when it comes to this. The first place I would start is a 0.6 PE or GO braid. This will have a breaking strain of around about 12 pounds. You think this might be a bit heavy for BFS applications, but with some reels, if you go for a very thin line, you may end up running into issues with a line getting caught between the reel and the spool. 0.06 is a great all-purpose line, and the great thing is you can always change your leader to suit your needs. Now, some of the budget lines I recommend from AliExpress are the Kingdom Microfly, the Seeso Red Bull, and any of the lines from Zukibo. I'd recommend you go for a fluorocarbon leader with approximate breaking strain of 6 pounds. From there, if you wish, you could go down to 2 or 3 or even up to 8 or 12 pounds if you really need to. I choose my leader length based on the water depth, but typically I like to have enough leader so that the braid to leader knot is just sitting off the spool and there's about 4 inches of line off the tip. If you like this video, check out this tier list video here. I'm sure you're going to like it. I'll see you there.